All right, Christ almighty, I just broke my ass trying to figure out how to fix the audio stuttering in OBS, and I made no, like, I don't know what the fuck I did, but it works now. But, yeah. So this is the synth you were curious about. I'll start with that one. I'll do the whole A section of the drop. So it's just this silent scream Hoover preset OTT, just modified to be kind of more of a laser with a pitch bend. And then layered with itself, just changed the wave to a square, made it just one oscillator. None of the other ones are active, and turned on the cutoff a little bit, compressed it again with OTT. The muting is turned on and off between the A and B section, because you have it like this here. And then here it's like... it also layers with this big, another Hoover screech. It sounds like this. Just you know, that's how the song goes. And this is just this Royale preset. Changed the waves in it to just pulses. EQ, distortion, compression, you know. There's this little Hoover here. Just this preset, slightly modified from the default. Probably, yeah, no filter movement, just EQ, distortion, compression. It's layered with itself 2 octaves down, and this one has the filter cutoff turned slightly down. If you compare the 2 cutoff knobs there and there, yeah. You know, pretty basic. Then we have this little like massive womp, which is without any post-processing. Sounds like it's a layer of this sub, just operator sub, with some like more harmonics from another operator, and then saturator distorting the fuck out of it, and then EQing out the harmonics again, just to make it as loud as possible. And then layered with this massive patch that is a modified default preset nasty. Just tweak some of these knobs to get it to the right kind of like vowel and LFO movement. Restart via gate, some phase modulation, you know, bend minus modern talking, square wave, and the needle wavetable with scream and band pass. Scream to, and then the feedback, pretty important. Just kind of boosts up that resonance peak from the scream and the band pass in a nice way. Brings it better into tune. Just distortion, stereo, and a pseudo low pass by modulating the high shelf with the same LFO. And then all of the post-processing, this phaser I know is not in needle, but... And then we have the big kind of chord stab that happens right here. It's just a Gladiator super saw. It's nothing special, you can get a super saw anywhere. Layered with the original sample chop, with a little bit of audio repitching, like the Ableton default repitching algorithm kind of fuckery that happens when you go way beyond what it's kind of meant to do. And it's just this part of just the very beginning of the shadow dancing chop from the original song. I did a remake of this like a week and a half ago on my YouTube channel. And then their last part of the drop, the last measure, is just this layer. Just another silent Hoover preset turned into a laser. Just the scream Hoover, slightly modified, pitch bend. Then OTT, cutting out the low end so it doesn't fight with this little massive like womp sound. Just kind of squishy in that old like dubstep massive type of way. There's just without any of the post-processing. It sounds much weaker, kind of fartier, but it's just a modification of the Archetype 1 preset, just, you know, tweaked to make it sound a little better, and then distorted and EQ'd to shit, you know. And the last main sound in the drop is this kind of womp. I think this is the one I was the farthest with, like I was the farthest from the original sound. Like, I don't think this is nearly good enough, but this is as close as I could get without the post-processing. This is actually a modification of this womp right here. Instead of just a pure sine sub, I have the maths wavetable just kind of, probably should have fixed the envelope, but you know, the compression and saturation makes up for my clumsiness. And then the main, it's same patch, just slightly tweaked from the earlier. Moving these macros down here a little bit to kind of create the exact movement from the original sound, but it's not perfect. But again, you can hide mistakes with compression and distortion. And I think it works more like than good enough for this little mini remake I did. So then in this part of the drop, the massive womp goes away for a new rhythm in the laser. And then the acapella, I couldn't get a good acapella. It sounded like dog shit, so I kind of tried to make up for that with just an OTT. I hand automated a gain later on in the acapella, like, no, I bounced it out to audio, I think, but I did automate the fucking, oh wait, no, I gotta see this, yeah, I didn't want to do a real gate, I didn't want to tweak that, I just did it by hand. It was only 16 bars of, you know, acapella, could handle it. Distortion, EQ, chorus to make it wider, filter for this little drop part when it fades in, and then delay and reverb to, again, make up for how shitty the acapella is. Background elements of the drop is just the crash that is in just about every old Skrillex song, the fucking one of the default Live 8 crash sounds. And then some crowd noise, just EQ'd reverb, just makes a little minor, takes up a little minor amount of space in the background of the drop. The main bus, just limiting and compression, sidechain ducking done with LFO tool. This utility automation isn't important except for the very end of the song when I want tails to completely stop. And the drums are just island kick with just some transient shaping on the high end, because I don't like the kind of like the crispiness that remains. I just wanted to tighten it up, and slight distortion. Vengeance snare compressed to shit because Skrillex was very like inspired by Justice, it seems, from like a lot of the older shit, and they always compress the ever-living fuck out of their snares. Just some like simple hand clap sounds to layer with the snare, and then some like default Ableton hi-hats and Vengeance hi-hats, just frequency shifted and EQ'd to sit where I want them to, and then some like offbeat snares for like the and like in the little like kick from Vengeance to just kind of make the feel better. You know, it works. And in context, yeah.